is iRacing.
Last week was the perfect deadlock between the top two in the championship. Victor Miranda and Ivan Machado cancelling each other's points out and making sure they increase their margin up at the top. With the top three looking for points and it being very open spread, we find ourselves perfectly in the middle of Milwaukee and Green Bay as a walk to Titletown is not too far away. Welcome to Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin and Road America for round 3 of the championship, races 5 and 6 for your Skip Barber Racing School Formula iRacing Series. My name's Jake Sperry. Alongside with me today for the ride is Joey Atterbury, and watching things from the director's chair is, of course, Daniel Costello. He'll be using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. But what a circuit. We sit and we wait with Joey. This is what we love to see, the most aggressive drafting track that these drivers will deal with all season long.
Yeah, Road America, round 3 in this schedule. We started off at another big track down there in Texas. Austin, Texas at Circuit of the Americas. Then we headed over to VIR, hit up the Grand Course for a little bit, and now we're at round number 3 right here in Elkhart Lake, Road America. It's just about an hour north of Milwaukee. It's going to be an awesome time here. I'll also have 2 more races after this one. We're going to go over, hit the northeastern track of Lime Rock Park, and then finish out at the full course at VIR. Back to that Virginia International Raceway, but the circuit that everybody knows that time.
A circuit that everyone knows like the back of their hands, but this Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin circuit is one of the longest that you'll see. It's a full 4.04 miles, 14 corners worth of battling, and it has pretty much everything that you want, minus a hairpin. It just allows that really fast flowing feel that we're going to be seeing all season long. And that fast and flowing feel is something that you can get, ladies and gentlemen, in just a couple moments' time, because we'll take this opportunity to walk over with a little look at our GSRC track guide.
Welcome to Road America. Nicknamed America's National Park of Speed, it's easy to see why just by looking at how the track is laid out. Long straights are a major feature, and drivers will build up incredible momentum before they find themselves interrupted by tight 90-degree corners. In fact, for a 4-mile circuit, it has shockingly few turns. It also has little in the way of variation in layouts. The main course is only broken up once with a single chicane added in the bend version. But don't take this to mean that it's a boring track. Elevation change happens many times over a lap, with a few places taking you into corners which are quite blind. But 2 of the turns on the back half of the course are perhaps the most distinctive. One is the carousel with its more than 180-degree radius. It just feels like it never stops. The other is the kink. Terrifyingly fast with very little runoff, it can end someone's race in a flash. As you'd expect, the heavy braking zones make for some ideal overtaking spots. Turn 5 sees plenty with its downhill entry. The hurried downs can offer drivers a chance at a sneak attack if you're brave, and then Canada Corner gives you one last shot before the lap is over. It's no wonder major organizations such as IMSA, IndyCar, NASCAR, and the SCCA all host major races here. All in all, many drivers rate this track as the best track in North America. Many who hop in the seat and try it can quickly understand why.
Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin may just be one of the most magical places in the United States to go and watch and also to go and drive when it comes to racing action. This is a sim racer's favorite, and it's pretty much prioritized by the fact that you've always got an opportunity. You've got 3 very long straights, Joey, where you can pretty much have a lovely launch in to make an overtake.
Yeah, 640 acres of speed. America's national park of speed is what Road America's referenced. And you're right, tons of passing opportunities, have huge straightaways that provide a ton of slipstream, a ton of that toe. But you also have to be really, really confident on the brake pedal, because if you have all that top speed and you go lunging down the inside and you're not good on the brakes, well, what is that opportunity gone? It's gone and wasted. But there's also some technical opportunities here at Road America, specifically that 6, 7, 8 up on the top of the circuit, and then also all the way down through the carousel into the kink down there. Road America, you were saying it's a great place to watch a race from. It's even better to actually go out there and race.
Well, these drivers, and use the key word there, opportunity. They're looking for an opportunity, and the opportunity is in the form of prizes here today. And this just indicates what you've got. Top 3 in the championship are all looking at a 3-day racing school with the Skip Barber Racing School coaching program, and they get an entry in October to the Skip Barber Racing Series Formula Car Shootout. And that shootout, it means that the winner at the end of that gets themselves one seat fully funded in the Skip Barber Racing Series for 2026. Those in 4th and 5th, they will also receive a 1-day Skip Barber Racing School. And of course, all drivers in the Hot Lap qualifier, if you make yourself in to the top 20 or get yourself there, you will get a $200 credit to Skip Barber Racing School. And that hard charge of the driver who gains the most places in the race will also get 1 day's worth of racing school. All in all, that's about $500,000 in terms of prize money. And I don't think there is a sim racing event out there, Joey, that offers so much in terms of a prize pool.
I've talked about it the first couple rounds. It's the opportunity, right? Everybody wants that opportunity to go out there and prove themselves. Skip Barber Racing School is doing exactly that, providing the opportunity for those drivers to go out there and potentially get into the real world. And speaking of those opportunities, we've got those championship points and who's who on top.
Well, the who's who is it's Victor Miranda, who's currently on top. Now, these points don't have any drop rounds applied to them. We will apply them later on in the season when that becomes more relevant, but it's 5 points clear over Ivan Machado in second. Matt Busa and his consistency puts himself in 3rd position right now, but look at the swarm behind him of Felipe Cabrera and Byron Mitchell, who had a great showing last time out. They are 4th and 5th. Aiden Young is in 6th position ahead of Cody Deeth by 3 points, with Leo Ovcharov holding on in 8th place. Andrew Moran currently in 9th, and we saw the daring charge up the order of Shoma Shintani. He is in 10th position. He could be a wild card to book that final place inside the top 3. So mark your words, it could be one where you keep that focus. But this is a long lap around here, which means there's lots of opportunities to calm the nerves and try and bring that power forward, which is so very vital around here. Joey, what are you expecting out of the racing action today?
Well, we're going to be seeing 2 races here today, each 15 minutes long. As you see, round 3 of 5. Everybody is in those FIA F4 cars, and guess what? It's going to be a fixed setup. Now, we are in qualifying. The drivers only have 1 lap out there to set a qualifying time. That sets the grid for race number 1. The finishing results from race number 1 will set the grid for race number 2. It's an identical length, though, 15 minutes. And that fixed setup that I mentioned, it's all about the drivers understanding the car and the track, figuring out what those minimum speeds are, where can you brake latest, where can you get on the gas to propel that car out of the corners, because guess what? It's the same for everybody. It's truly spec racing with a fixed setup.
It's not about who's got the best set, it's about who can maximize their effort out of the setup provided for them. So that's what's going to be dealt with over the course of 2 races worth of 15-minute action that we are due. So keep that in mind as the racing goes forward. We are heading towards the end of qualifying. We've got about 5 seconds before that clock ticks over, and we'll be ready to show you that starting grid overall. A couple drivers found themselves a little bit short. They didn't leave themselves enough time to put that one qualifying lap down on the board, and it's car number 1, the fastest car from Hot Lap qualifiers, who's put the car up on pole position. It'll be Matt Caruana who will find himself there looking for better fortune here today, with Cody Deeth alongside on the front row. Matt Busa starts third with the championship leader Victor Miranda in 4th, ever shadowed by Ivan Machado, who goes from 5th. It's Leo Ovcharov starting in 6th position, with Aiden Young 7th and Mitchell Ian Green in 8th place, with Byron Mitchell 9th, just 0.2 off the pace, and Shoma Shintani rounding out the top 10.
Starting in 11th is Ross Banfield, with Andrew Moran next to him on row number 6. Then we have Clay Morris in 13th, with Cade Middleton next to him in 14th. Jeffrey Decker will be starting on row number 8, with Michael Polasek next to him in 16th. Patrick Hingston in 17th, with Matt Adams 18th, and the final car of the 19-car entry field, Michael Sikorsky in the number 17.
So work to do for those drivers who did not set a time, and Mikhail Sikorsky is going to be one of those drivers who will definitely want to charge on through this field and will be looking at hard charger points in the opening race here. Now, those hard charger points, of course, they are separate between each race. It's not a combined through both races. And as we need to talk about that as well, Joey, this is going to be a series where you've got 2 drop rounds available, but each race is considered a round. So you don't just drop, say, your 2 results here, for example, at Road America. You drop your 2 weakest results over the entirety of the season, which means you can drop one here at Road America. You might want to drop one all the way back from round 1.
I think it kind of forces everybody to show up every single week. You have to qualify in, so it forces that practice. And guess what? If you miss a round completely, yeah, it pretty much takes away your drops. But you're right. If you're able to be in that top 20 in this race every single week, yeah, if you have a bad race at VIR and then you have one at Road America, well, guess what? You can have one from each weekend. Yeah, it's just kind of nice. It's how actual racing would work. Not everybody's going to be able to show up week in and week out, but hey, everybody's here this week.
It's a hot track there, 46 degrees. It's sweltering out there, so drivers will be looking at those tyre temperatures. They'll be getting up pretty quickly. Not a massive amount of wind to deal with either, just the 6 mile an hour, so it will play a little bit of a factor here, but you're very sheltered, especially here towards Canada Corner, through the trees, heading towards Bill Mitchell Bend, and then turn 14 out on track, the final corner here on an Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin circuit, which has remained practically unchanged since 1955, when this circuit first provided this layout in 1950. It was more of a street circuit, and it was massively expanded to 5.3 miles in 1951 and 1952. No updates around here since 2003, but the update here that these drivers are looking at is who is going to step up and say, I can mount a challenge to those top 3 positions. Miranda, Machado, and Matt Busa, your top 3 in the championship. Caruana and Deeth, your front row, your green flag in the air, and we are underway immediately. Victor Miranda tries to go forward. It's a narrow start as they now push and try to bump 2, then 3, then 2, as they run over towards turn 1. Easy on the brakes as you go on through, sweeping around the outside there is Cody Deeth, who takes the race lead away from Matt Caruana. They dive into turn 3, and it's Ivan Machado who's got to that inside. Contact with Miranda. The top 2 in the championship have come together.
Even Machado all the way to the back of the field. He spins it around, gets it back going, but the driver that went up 2 positions in turn number 1 finds himself buried at the back end of the field.
Oh, shades of last season when we saw what happened with Harley Horton, contact going through at turn 5, and this is where the prime places to overtake happen, up the hill, under the Corvette Bridge, and looking for the looks at turn 6, where it really gives that opportunity to now say you're in the middle part of the circuit. The hurry downs, Aiden Young back there in 13th position, looking at what he can do to climb forward. As you can see them jostling about every way they look. They're hoping that there's a little bit of room available and they can steal a yard or 2 to try and give themselves that run. Young getting that move up into 12th position then, after what was a start which has dropped him down 6 places, now 5.
And Shoma Shintani is doing a great job, up 5 positions. And look at this, the draft battle already on for the lead. Cody Deeth under attack from Caruana, and that's going to be a lead overtake going into Canada corner pretty easy. I think that was a lift coming from Cody Deeth. We saw this a little bit at VIR. If 2 cars can escape, they really can gap themselves away from the rest of the field, and they've got about 1.5 seconds over Ovcharov already coming into the final turn.
Well, that's key for them. They're trying to get through. There's been a massive incident with Matt Adams and Clay Morris. Morris has gone flipping through the gravel at Canada corner and is out. But on the back then here of Matt Caruana, we take a look from the rain light as he now starts to think about Cody Deeth and what they can do. They want to break 1 second. At 1.5 seconds, you still feel that drafting ability that's there. And with Leo Ovcharov and Victor Miranda in 3rd and 4th, the one thing they can't afford to do right now in this situation, as you saw there, the face of concentration on Matt Caruana, is to throw everything away. Little bit of contact back there, 8th, 9th, 10th and 11th, and they will fan with Caden Middleton making a bit of contact with Andrew Moran, with Mitchell Ian Green, and with Byron Mitchell in the mix. We're going to see this all day long.
And let's see who's bravest on the brakes. I think I see Byron Mitchell, I think, in the grass coming up the inside. And so now we're almost 3 wide into turn 5. Somebody's going to take advantage. Now we're going to get 3 wide up the hill going into turn number 6. This is a narrow overcrest. There's going to be contact between the 2 outside cars. And one of them, Ross Banfield, gets both of them.
Yeah, so Banfield trying to actually confirm the move there to get the pair of them. Now trying to drive on that inside line. Has it here towards the hurry downs, or the end of the hurry downs. 90 degrees and he'll get turned. And there's a massive bit of contact as they now sprawl out. Patrick Hingston and Jeffrey Decker, the former pro stripe, getting caught out. Michael Polisek's doing doughies in the grass as he's trying to get himself pointed in a straight line. And Ivan Machado is just trying to pick away through. This might be his drop round. He's not finished off the podium all season long so far. Busa and Shintani together on circuit, looking for a way to get closer to Miranda and Ovcharov, and it's groups of 2 from 3 behind. So the chase very much on, but these pockets right now, you feel, are just that, pockets, and they're trying to open up to make sure they get closer, and they find a couple more places here and there. Whoa!
That was a huge move on Busa into the wall all by himself, moving Shoma Shintani up into 5th place, but that was Matt Busa coming out of turn 14, just put the outside wheels in the dirt, bottomed out the car. It hooked hard right, and into the wall he went.
That is a rare mistake from a driver who rarely makes mistakes. Matt Busa is an experienced head on experienced shoulders, and that final corner, it just bit. He went a little bit too far wide, and just because of that, Joey, that race pretty much is gone here, and a massive chance for everyone now to leapfrog, looking to jump into the top 3 in the championship. First and foremost, you look at those 2 of Deeth and Caruana, they'll be licking their lips knowing that Matt Busa's dropped down the order. It's Cody Deeth gets on the brakes early, and they realise they've now got 2 seconds to the good over Leo Ovcharov.
These 2 drivers, this race is exactly what they're looking for. Remember Caruana, he was so aggressive at VIR, I think he had to retire out of the first race after a few spins. Cody Deeth himself, he did not have very much look at the grand course either, so both of these cars running 1-2 right now, 1.6 seconds, 1.8 seconds actually out in front of 3rd, starting to gap it out. This is the points day that I think both Matt and Cody were looking for.
5 retirees then from this first race tonight here from Road America. Matt Busa, Jeffrey Decker, Patrick Hingston, Clay Morris and Matt Adams, all getting themselves caught up in trouble. Here we take a look though at the GSRC replay. So this is what happened with Patrick Hingston as he went through, found himself with nowhere to go, and he goes full up onto 2 wheels, crests over the top, and collects the car in front of him, which I believe would have been Jeffrey Decker, who'd have been very unlucky. Hingston, of course, landing down, would have had some suspension damage there with the contact that was made, and so as such falls into a little bit of trouble. But Victor Miranda right now, see the focus that he's got right now, trying to make sure that he stays in the right position at the right time, confirming as many points as he possibly can as we are nearing closer and closer to that halfway stage. And you really get the sense that these drivers are pushing, and they're not just pushing in the sense that they're pushing to try and pace forward and gain as much advantage as possible, Joey. They're even going to this phase where they might even want to try a few NASCAR tactics, for example, the bump draft.
They are bump drafting out there. This pack of 4, probably not bump drafting as much, but I'm going to get a little bit nerdy here, is that if you go up there and smack the car in front of you and give them an aggressive bump draft, you might think that transfers all the energy, but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's just going up there and tucking yourself up literally right behind the rear wing that propels both cars forward in terms of that top speed, as it looks like Andrew Moran is going to outbrake Mitchell Ian Green. Mitchell Ian Green hanging tough, though, puts the power down on the outside, going up to turn number 6, is able to defend. That's not something you see very often down there in turn number 5. Usually that inside car can run that outside car out on the exit and take that position. Well defended from that number 7.
Yeah, doing very well as Cade Middleton sits on the back of this group. It's Mitchell Ian Green in front of him, then Andrew Moran, then Aiden Young, who has recovered brilliantly, by the way, to be +1 now for the day in terms of pace. Mikhail Sikorsky, your biggest mover in the field, is up 8 places. Middleton, the face of concentration at the moment, thinking about what he needs to do to try and find an extra little bit of pace against Green, Moran and Young. And this is the sort of circuit where you have to think being at the back of this group isn't the end of the world for someone like Cade Middleton. He's just got to start picking them off one at a time. And I think when he hits 5 minutes to go, that's when he's got to start uncorking moves.
He's just kind of sitting patient right now. He's gone up 5 positions. But remember, we've also had a lot of these drivers drop out on those first couple laps. So I think this group of 4 working very, very consistently right now. Their lap time's kind of in the high 208s, low 209s. You compare that to our leaders, though, they're doing 208.4s up front.
Well, they've also got to be quite alert because they could catch up here to Shoma Shintani, and a top 5 not out of the realms of possibility. Mitchell Ian Green is going to box in Andrew Moran, who has to lift out of it. He had nowhere to go, planted the car in the wrong place, and look at this, 2 wide, 2 deep, little bit of contact there a bit further back as Moran and Middleton, they're coming together, tapping front to rear. They get away with it. Middleton gets his move. Mitchell Ian Green can't dispatch of Aiden Young, but that just shows you how quickly you've got to think with this machinery, because even the slightest contact could be troublesome. There is Aiden Young, as he is pretty much leading this group of 4 right now, and he does not look perturbed at all as he turns into turn 5.
No, and the car right behind him, Moran, got wicked loose trying to put the power down. You saw that big squirm from the rear tires, and now, once again, Aiden Young continues to gap it out there over that car right behind him. So I think that he's focused forward, and right in front of him, I believe, is going to be Shoma Shintani, that car that you had just mentioned about half a lap ago. So as long as he can focus forward, he might be able to go catch him with 5 minutes remaining.
It's definitely possible right now. That gap is 2 seconds, and Shintani has no draft. Aiden Young leads a group with draft, so there is certainly a potential for that to be reeled in. Middleton we focus on now. Looking at Mitchell Ian Green, the car behind Aiden Young for position, dancing through the kink, the toughest corner on the circuit. You never want to go too wide through there. Now running through the kettle bottoms, heading towards Canada Corner. There goes Mitchell Ian Green, having a little look from Pennsylvania for that chance. He's not getting there. Cade Middleton from Club Florida is hoping that he can find a little bit of a way forward here and pick off another one. We're at 4 minutes 20 seconds. They're hoping for a way that move can jump a little bit more, and they're thinking, well, 6th position's nice, we quite like 5th, and it's all about that coordination. How does this group coalesce and allow themselves the chance as Matt Caruana puts a fast slap in, and here comes the move again.
Ian Green down to the inside. He's the car right in the middle of the racetrack. He's going to take away one position. I'm actually pretty surprised that Cade Middleton did not jump up the middle as well. And now that fourth car in line, I believe that's Andrew Moran, is starting to get a little bit anxious back there. Took a look into turn number 3, but as is always with Road America, it's the corner exits. Turn 3 leads out onto the longest straightaway, heading down into turn 5, your biggest and best brake zone. Here comes Aiden Young with a bump draft, and the fight is back on up front.
It very much is, as the likes of Cody Deeth stays calm and doesn't want to make the moves. Mitchell, Ian Green on the inside, Young on the outside is just commanding this circuit, trying everything he can. If he can hold it around the outside at turn 6, such a tough thing to do at the plateaued corner. He's got the inside at turn 7, leading to the hurry downs, and practically is owning this defence at the moment. Everybody is trying to sidle for a way forward. Aiden Young's having none of it. It's his 6th position. He is not letting that one go.
It's a really tough position that he's in, too, with the fixed setup. He doesn't have anybody to draft of in front of him, and he's got 3 hungry drivers right behind him that all have the slipstream. So Aiden Young's going to have to hit every single marker that he can, turn perfect laps all the way throughout if he wants to hang on to that 6th.
Well, if he wants it, he's got to go get it. There's Byron Mitchell in 11th. He's now lost the place to Mikhail Sikorsky, who is now in 10th place, a gain of 9, but it could be more as they're side-by-side at Canada Corner. Cade Middleton is making a little bit of argy-bargy with Andrew Moran in the number 18 machine. Out there at this moment, the Ohio driver, Moran, hoping for a way to make his presence known. He's not quite finding it. Cody Deeth, how long can he sit there? This will be the final lap of the race, but he's just sat on Matt Caruana all this time, Joey.
This is going to be really interesting. They crossed the line pretty much right at 203, 204, so I'm not sure if this is the final lap or if they're going to have one more, but if I'm a racer, if I'm inside that helmet, I want to be leading at the stripe just in case that checkered flag falls, and you see everybody starting to bust it out. Oh, a little bit of contact back here, more contact on the exit. It's a drag race down to 5.
We got ourselves too wide, and it's on for the lead. Cody Deeth has been biding his time and moves to the inside. Caruana goes up and under, searching for that one magical move up at the Corvette bridge, and he'll dive down that inside line, commands all of the corner and says, that's mine. I'm going to try and take that back. You can definitely sense with the force feedback going through his wheel that he does not want to be anywhere near the battles that he's dealing with right now, but there's one crucial corner here, and it's the long looping carousel. If he can get a drive through here, he can defend against Cody Deeth, heading through the kettle bottoms over towards Canada Corner, which is the last great place on the lap to try and make a move through the kink. Caruana and Cody hoping for their chances. Cody Deeth will have to go the long way around, but look at the overspeed from the Aussie as he now makes that charge forward. Caruana's got to be brave on the brakes and try and hold that inside line. The outside of Bill Mitchell bend, it's off camber slightly through here, and now Caruana's got to try and pick a pocket here at the final corner. Does he have an angle to dive to the inside? He does not, but he might want to drag race up the hill. Cody Deeth, how good is your drive? Matt Caruana hoping for a launch up the hill, and he will take some side draft. It's going to be side by side on a photo finish to the line. Caruana puts a finger up and says, that's mine, by 17 thousandths of a second.
Perfectly executed to the line as we watch everybody else come across. Leo Ovcharov will round out the podium as everybody else takes that checkered flag from Barney. I was wondering if we were going to get one more. Perfectly called from you, Jake Sperry, and it was perfectly timed by Matt Caruana.
Well, timing is everything, and he left everything on the table. Matt Caruana, 15 minutes and 5 seconds, winning by 17 thousandths of a second over the line. It'll be corrected to 18 thousandths here with Leo Ovcharov in third position and Victor Miranda for the first time off the podium in fourth position. Shoma Shintani gains 5 places. He makes his way to fifth with Mitchell Ian Green in sixth. As we just had the session tick over, it was Aidan Young in seventh there with Andrew Moran in eighth. Cade Middleton would finish off in ninth with Byron Mitchell, the last runner, in 10th position.
Then across the page, we have Mikhail Sikorsky in 11th, Michael Polasek in 12th, Ross Banfield in 13th, even Machado in 14th. That's a big story right there. Patrick Hingston 15th, Matt Busa several laps down, as well as the remaining Jeffrey Decker, Clay Morris, and Matt Adams, the 19 cars that participated. That will make up the grid for race number 2.
Well, it's going to be an important race too, especially for Ivan Machado, who got turned around in the early stages. He got a wonderful launch as he went by through, and I think he just got desperately unlucky. He was pinched down to the inside with Victor Miranda, and the Spaniard just ended up the wrong side of front to rear contact. He's got it all to do in this race, and the last thing he wants, Joey, is to desperately be sat down in a position right now where he's using both of his drop rounds here at Road America. He needs a big bounce back here in race 2.
He does need a little bit of a bounce back, but he's always one of the fastest cars on the track. So I think when it comes to the confidence, don't change anything, right? It was a little bit of an unfortunate situation that you got taken out there at turn 3 on lap number 1, but you've shown that you're one of the fastest cars out there. Just keep going back out there and doing your thing. You will find yourself at the front.
And speaking of those at the front, Matt Caruana, from one week to the next, he spun 3 times out at VIR in one race last time out. It's like watching Clark Kent walk down the alleyway, go into the phone booth, and suddenly here comes Superman.
It's pretty remarkable, the difference between the grand course at VIR and what we're seeing, especially out of a couple of these drivers as we get some of the replays from round 1. But you're right, Caruana came out here on a mission. He was up front the entire time with Cody Deeth and ultimately timed that run to the line perfectly. I mean, you saw the drag racing, the games being played on the last lap, and it was Caruana that played it perfectly.
Well, that was just a game of 1v1. If they decide they play nice here in this second race, they got a really good opportunity. This was the moment that gave those two the breakaway there. You had Machado and contact with Miranda having to scatter, and Leo Ovcharov jumping through. From that moment on, Joey, the gap was there, and the top two could focus amongst themselves. You can see getting close in, little bit of contact front to rear, and that's all it takes is that fine margin.
It really is, and I would say the first 2 or 3 laps here in race number 1, I wouldn't call them sloppy. I would call them aggressive, right? 3 wide up here in turn number 6. Somebody's going to lose out. Thankfully, nobody went around in that sort of situation, but because of all this racing, because of all the aggressive moves, it allowed the front to escape. It allowed the next 2 to escape, and then we got those 2x2 draft packs, and there's a little bit more, some of that chaos that I was referencing. All this confidence on the brakes, you got to make sure you stop before you get into somebody else still.
Well, another driver who will be looking for a bit of confidence is Matt Busa, who had, of course, his moment out there in the racing, finding himself in the barriers. He is desperate for points, and he's another driver, very much like Ivan Machado, to keep an eye out on, charging through the field in this race too. But the margins are finite. We're seeing these drivers when they're in packs of 3, packs of 4. Very much a case here today at Road America of if you decide to battle amongst yourselves, you will just bleed time out of everywhere. There is no way you can make that time back up if you're just going too wide. This is a circuit conducive to that style of battling, Joey. So would you feel that these drivers just need to be a tiny bit more patient and just wait for a chance to catch the next car in front?
I think yes and no. Trying to tell a racing driver to be patient is near impossible no matter who you're talking to. And then couple that with these cars are lower horsepower. Remember, they're 4-cylinder, about 160 horsepower. Now, they only weigh about 1,250 pounds. So yes, they do get going quite a good clip, but they don't have that horsepower or that torque to really pull you out of a mistake. So let's say if you make a mistake on the brakes and go in too deep, you can't use your right foot to pull you out of the corner to force that mistake to kind of eliminate itself. That's why we see so many of these runs, 2 wides, 3 wides, and draft packs happening with these F4 cars. They're so similar paced, you really have to understand how to drive them.
Yeah, you absolutely have to be on a level. And there we just see the final stages of the battle as we're just about ready to head over towards race 2. Up the hill, Matt Caruana picking up the side draft and stealing it, heading over towards the line. They will start race number 2 exactly the same way as they finished in race number 1, which means Matt Caruana, car number 1, will once again be on the pole position. Cody Death will be alongside him for company, who was second, of course, when he qualified. It's going to be 3rd position on the grid for Leo Ovcharov, with Victor Miranda in 4th position. Shoma Shintani will go from 5th, with Mitchell Ian Green in P6. It's then Aidan Young and Andrew Moran 7th and 8th, with Cade Middleton in 9th and Byron Mitchell rounding out the top 10.
Got the number 17 of Mikhail Sikorsky starting in 11th, with Michael Polasek starting 12th. Ross Banfield in 13th, with Ivan Machado looking for some redemption here in 14th. Patrick Kingston 15th. Matt Busa, another one of those drivers looking for a far better race number 2, starting from 16th. Jeffrey Decker 17th. Clay Morris 18th. And Matt Adams rounding out the 19-car field.
A shortened run forward, of course, towards the start of this second race. They will, of course, have a rolling start behind the iRacing sedan safety car, which is out there. It says, in fact, it's a safety vehicle on the front of its windshield, and it's done its diligent service for a very, very long time here in iRacing. This second race is going to be make or break for a number of drivers. We are now officially at halfway through the season. And Joey, I'm going to have to ask you this, because it's what happens normally when you get to about halfway through the season. Who do you think's got an A+ on their grade card, and who do you think needs a little bit more homework?
I think if we're looking for the top driver so far, it's hard not to pick that number 9 of Victor Miranda out there. He's always on the podium. He's won a couple races so far. He had a terrific race here at race number 1. So we'll see if Victor can kind of hang on to the back half of the season. Obviously, even Machado was excellent as well, especially in those first, call it, 4 races between COTA and VIR. A little bit of bad luck to start it here at Road America, but I would say I've got my eye on Machado, see if he can recover and salvage today here at Elkhart.
Well, it's all about damage limitation for Ivan Machado and Matt Busa, and you can see how much these drivers want to get out to racing right now. Cody Death pulling right alongside the pace car there, wanting to get his tyres up to temperature. He is a born racer through and through, is Cody Death, and he just wants to get on and drive here, Joey.
Hey, he's always one of the fastest. Cody Death had some tremendous speed on that opening round at Circuit of the America. Obviously, he's shown a lot here by being on the front row as well. We'll see if he can grab the top spot, that elusive top spot that he hasn't been able to find yet.
There's your championship leader, Victor Miranda. He, of course, as always, has in his ear Jackson Rosenda, who is helping him out as his spotter here today. Cade Middleton is the only other driver in the field today with a spotter. He's got Matthew Luke helping him out there from the tower, hoping to give himself a bit of an advantage. Into the pit will go the iRacing sedan pace car. Pace once more with number 1, Matt Caruana. And this is where race 2 becomes oh so critical. Green flag in the air, another 15 minutes to put on the board. And this time it's a little bit more tame as they make that run forward. Maybe Ovcharov, maybe Miranda might have a look here in towards turn number 1. Death again trying the outside line, but this time Caruana's got it covered.
And yeah, it's Caruana, Death, and then Miranda is 3rd in line. Ovcharov slides back into 4th. You see how busy it is pretty much from 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th on back, as we got 2 cars off drivers left. That, I believe, is Byron Mitchell and Cade Middleton.
Well, both of them were hoping for a little bit more out of this race. The two colliding together. It looked like it was a kick of oversteer through the middle of the corner for Cade Middleton as he had to correct. Now down the inside, there goes the moves, and Cody Deeds realises it's Victor Miranda who's there right behind, trying to get through. Ovcharov in fourth, Shintani fifth, Mitchell Ian Green is in sixth position right now, and there have been some great movers in the early stages. Ivan Machado already up to ninth. He's got 5 places in the early goings.
And this is down into turn number 8. Always tricky downhill on the first lap. Looks like everybody survives through that little left-hander. And now through the carousel, it's still Caruana out front, Deeds second, Miranda third. But you look at the face of this field, totally different. Race number 1 was all broken up by the time we hit the kink. Everybody's still in a draft pack.
Let's take a look at what happened to Cade Middleton then on the start, on the brakes, through turn 3. He's going to get a big kick of oversteer through the middle of the corner. He and Byron Mitchell, they have a little bit of contact there as they try and get themselves sorted and back going again, but that's where the troubles are. Jeffrey Decker will pick one up then as he slides through at Canada Corner. That was Patrick Hingston running a bit wide with Mikhail Sikorsky there just in front of him now as Matt Adams and Clay Morris decide they want to get a little bit feisty. Now Matt Adams, once upon a time in this series, has picked up a victory around here at Road America. He loves this circuit, but he's a little bit down the order. Here goes Victor Miranda, now trying to find his move on Cody Deeth, and Caruana comes over to block him.
And Caruana, you're right, he's just trying to pick whichever car cannot catch him, and now I believe that's Deeth that's going to lose not only second place, but here comes Ovcharov trying to poke the nose down. He says no, probably not a high percentage move going down into turn number 3, and Caruana actually a little bit off the track there on the corner exit, costs him a little bit of time, but it's still Miranda and Deeth that are hooked up trying to catch the leader.
And that chain reaction has allowed Aiden Young now to, with a little bit of help from Andrew Moran, to pick up the move on Mitchell Ian Green. So that's allowed that one as they fall forward. Too wide, too deep. That's Ivan Machado trying the uber wide line and round. It's going to go Mitchell Ian Green with a little bit of contact. Careful on the rejoin. It's a horrible, horrible accident there. Clay Morris has had a torrid night, and that time it was certainly not his fault.
You just cannot re-enter the racetrack from that sort of angle. You need to be parallel when you're rejoining the racetrack. So unfortunate that Clay Moore's totally innocent victim there, completely taken out at the corner exit of turn number 5.
We don't like to see that in sim racing, but sometimes it does happen. It's also caught out Mikhail Sikorsky, who is out of this race as well. So now we're down 4 drivers here in this race too. Shoma Shintani we focus on here, the Japanese driver in 5th position in car number 8, looking to try and give this an almighty go. There's a little look from Miranda for the race lead on Matt Caruana, but no dice. These top 5 are going to have to start thinking about where they want to be best placed. 11 minutes on the clock to try and get as many points as they possibly can. Running through Bill Mitchell Bend, heading to that final corner, turn 14 on the lap. We take a look here with Victor Miranda. This is where the slipstream becomes king, and this is where Miranda is hoping to get back to a very safe haven that he's had this season so far, which is P1, as Caruana thought about to defend, but ultimately has to let him go to that inside with the fastest lap to boot.
I like what Victor's doing right now. He's just shaking up the front of the field. Remember, it was all Cody and Matt in race number 1 here at Road America. Victor wasn't even in the picture. He was sitting there in 3rd and 4th trying to draft to catch up to the leader. So here he is at the front of the field. He's saying, I want the clean air. I want to be part of this mix. I want to have to be overtaken at the end.
Take another look here for Clay Morris's perspective through the middle of the corner and nowhere to go. He is as much of a passenger there as you can possibly see, and he gets going for a tilt-a-whirl ride and lands on top of the front nose there of Mikhail Sikorsky, which ends his race outright as he crested the hill a lap ago to this corner, turn 6, out on track under the Corvette bridge, and now to the Hurry Downs once again, with the lead currently being held by Victor Miranda. But this is a group now of 8 cars at the front, going all the way back to Matt Booster, the hard charger at the moment in the field, up 7, 16th to 9th.
I had mentioned that he's looking for redemption, and that's exactly what he's done. He's put himself in a position to gain even more at the end of this, but I think kind of my dark horse for the back half of the season, you had asked at the beginning of this race here, who's kind of the favorite for the championship? The back half, I'm looking at Shoma Shintani, the car that's right in front of Aiden Young, that's sitting in the 5th place. He's the number 8 car. Looks like we got a lead change again. Caruana going deep on the brakes into Canada corner. Victor Miranda just kind of let him have it. So a little bit of some peloton going on at the front. But I really like what I saw out of Shoma Shintani showing up at VIR, being one of the hard chargers, having a great race here to start the day. And here he is sitting in the top 5 as well.
Well, Shoma Shintani needs every great day he possibly can. He missed the opener of the season at Circuit of the Americas. That means there's no drop rounds in the back pocket. Same to be said for Matt Caruana. Here goes the look again at the front of the field for Victor Miranda. Shintani now moves over to the right-hand side, doesn't want to really affect himself. Aiden Young with the fastest lap. Miranda straight back through into the race lead. Caruana, then Deeth, then it's Ovcharov there in 4th position. It's a fantastic field at the moment. 4 different nationalities, in fact 5 different nationalities representing the top 5. It's Brazil that leads, the UK that leads, Australia that leads, United States that leads, Japan. Here goes Caruana back again, and so too Aiden Young.
It's just the constant flip-flop of the draft. I will say that Miranda has the inside, but we see the lift off of the gas again, so letting Caruana have the lead. And when I say he's lifting off of the gas, it's probably only 2 or 3%. He's not completely coming off of the gas in fuel save technique. He's just letting Matt have the racing line, so that way both drivers are held up as little as possible.
Well, the least amount of time that you can save getting stuck in side-by-side battles, I think, is going to be the key. Victor Miranda has a very level head at this moment in time. Of course, has the little bit of help in the ears from Jackson Rosenda, and that might be their game plan at this moment in time, Joey. Just wait until the final opportunities to go out there and basically do a Matt Caruana on Matt Caruana.
That's what you have to do at Road America. You have to play chess, especially with the fixed setup, the spec cars. Everybody literally has the exact same equipment, so it comes down to that mental game. Here comes Miranda once again, and you see Matt Caruana lift off of the accelerator, so it's just that peloton game that we're seeing. Who wants to be out front, use the slipstream, leapfrog that car in front, and then keep the efficiency going. Don't fight with each other, because that's what allows the others to take advantage.
Leo Ovcharov has been desperately unlucky so far this season. He sits in 4th position. You could have argued at Circuit of the Americas at the season openers that he had a great chance to stamp his name down with authority. It's not been the season he's been hoping for, but he'll be looking at top 3 still as a potential with what's going on. Caruana back to the point, then to the inside, and will take the race lead away, heading towards turn 1, and the entire train continues to sit down. But with 6 minutes to go, you're going to have to start moving back there if you're 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. You're going to have to find ways to move on forward. Everyone's got the slipstream on everyone else, which makes it very difficult to make these passes, but that's the key round in the background. Is that Andrew Moran going for a spin? Yes, it is.
Thankfully, look at that. Great job. He held the brake, so that way everybody knew exactly what he was doing. That is predictable right there. Very unfortunate for the spin, but Matt Busa now finds himself side-by-side overtaking Michael Polasek for what is 7th place, and Polasek spins it around on the exit of 5.
Oh, that's not what Polasek was hoping for there. Tough to go on that outside line and hold it. He was over the curve on the right-hand side. You very much have a little bit less grip there. And Shoma Shintani now gets put into the mixer with Aiden Young right now, hoping that top 5 can be defended here at turn 8. Just about manages it. But these drivers, they're just like that. You put them at about 3 laps to go, they start getting a little bit antsy here. And you look at that gap with Leo Ovcharov. He tried to make the move at turn 5, and all of a sudden, 0.7 of a second opens up to Cody Deeth.
Well, and what we didn't see was Leo run way wide at the top of the hill at turn number 6. He was actually 4 wheels in the grass. That's where that big gap came from. Now an aggressive move from Miranda halfway down the straightaway. He's going to overtake again for the lead, but it's just not efficient enough to draw away from the cars behind, and it's actually a little bit of a stack up coming out of Canada corner. So what was maybe a little bit of a 3-car breakaway is going to bring Ovcharov, Shintani, and Aiden Young all back into the picture.
Matt Buser, P7, Ivan Machado, P8, picking up the pieces right now, and that's what you need back there from those two drivers recovering. Just let everybody fight. You can pick up the pieces at the end. Back to the inside goes Matt Caruana, 4:09 remaining on the clock, and this will be a move. Look out, because Aiden Young is looking very, very feisty. He's one of the few drivers in this group who's been willing to show his hand trying to get past, but Shoma Shintani has nothing of it. Caruana now will have to play defense now as they head towards the Sargento Bridge and the Marine Sweep in turn 5, which is the prime place today to find moves.
The front four got out of turn number 3 just a little bit better than Shoma Shintani. You see them all accordion up, so here goes Victor down the inside. We're going to see the lift out of Caruana again. Third place staying pretty with Cody Deep. I really think these top 3 are just kind of patiently waiting, saying, okay, you can lead this corner. All right, I'll take this corner. But I don't think they're actually showing the cards in the pocket quite yet.
Matt Caruana, the face of concentration that he's got at the moment, he is feeling everything going through his arms right now, his entire body, a tiny breath as he now runs through turn number 8 out on circuit, basically hugging the rain light there of the car in front, Victor Miranda, hoping that there will be some way forward to find the passes, to find that moment to go at the double. We have not seen so far this season very much, Joey, a chance for drivers to go out there and pick up 2 all-important victories. He will look over to the inside. He's wanting to be the first to go back-to-back as he looks down the inside.
This is so tricky right here, and now he's almost going to get boxed down for second place. Cody Deeth, he's going to find himself on the wrong side of the road, so he's going to have to lift off. So Caruana is going to start the final lap in the lead. Remember, he won race number 1 here at Road America, but it was all out of that last lap, last corner pass. He finds himself in a different position to start the final one this time.
Well, Matt Caruana has the weight of the world behind him right now, and it's the best that iRacing can throw at him. Victor Miranda, Cody Deeth, Leo Ocharov, Shoma Shintani, Aiden Young, and Matt Buser, all in this group. Little bit of a pinch into turn 1 for Cody Deeth. He gets a little bit hot under the collar, and now he'll start looking around, trying to see if he can make a move on Miranda. But there goes Leo Ocharov, diving down the inside, trying to steal P3 away. Shintani is going to jump up onto the seat, and Victor Miranda's late to the draft then on Matt Caruana. I don't think he wants to move here. Bump drafting might be the key here for Cody Deeth, as Shoma Shintani needs to find an angle to try and get this move sorted. You've got Young and Buser as well going, as Buser now starts to try and make some moves deep, and the group third on back are taking each other out of contention. Shintani still in 5th, Deeth still in 3rd. How there's been no movement, I don't know. Caruana with a slight wiggle up over at turn 6 and in towards the hurry downs. You get the sense now that Victor Miranda is biding his time, looking for an opportunity, but the longer he waits, everybody else will start thinking about, well, what about me? I'll try and claw it back. Cody Deeth, a member of the 10K iRacing Club. It's such an elite list. He's got every turn of pace, every turn of cadence. Try and pull this back if he can. But Caruana now, at a car length and a half, has to make this move through the kick and try and hold on, because Victor Miranda's got the slingshot run that he wants. Which way are you going to go? He's going to go to the inside, trying to pick up this move. Early on the brakes goes Matt Caruana. He's trying to do exactly what he did in race 1, and that's pick the run up out the final corner. So can this be Miranda's day? Through Bill Mitchell Bend, heading to turn 14, and again Matt Caruana now will prioritise an exit, and once more you got to look out, Victor. Hard over to the inside. It's now Caruana trying to pick the slipstream. It's a little bit lethargic, but now he gets the run. Now it's going to be close. Miranda just about holds on, and look at that. He is so much there. He's got so much to prove, and that pretty much is a rubber stamp on why he is the championship leader. Caruana tried it again, but ultimately lightning can't strike twice.
What a race finish there. We had all of the top 7 all extremely packed in. And you're right, Caruana tried to do the exact same move that he did in race number 1, but Victor Miranda was just able to get out of turn 14 that little bit better, accelerate up the hill just a skosh more than the race 1, and guess what? Claimed the victory.
Well, that is a mega win. Aiden Young there finishing in 6th position. Will feel like that today was going to always be a challenge. Let's get confirmation of result then here from Road America. This is the 6th race of the championship. Victor Miranda getting it done, 21 thousandths of a second. Matt Caruana couldn't quite find his angle through. Cody Deeth found himself sandwiched there in 3rd position. No room to breathe for him, with Leo Ovcharov in 4th and Shoma Shintani in P number 5. Aiden Young would finish off in 6th, but one of your big movers in the field there was Matt Busa, getting up into 7th position, a gain of 9 as he made that charge. Ivan Machado managing to find some points in 8th, with Ross Banfield 9th and also up 9 spots. Matt Adams finishing in 10th.
Then in 11th, we have Jeffrey Decker, a good run, up 6 positions. Michael Polasek to finish in 12th. Andrew Moran in 13th. Patrick Hinkston down here in 14th. Byron Mitchell, the final car on the lead lap, in 15th. Cade Middleton, 1 lap down, and then come the cars that had some problems, several laps down. Clay Morris, Mikkel Sikorsky, and Mitchell Ian Green.
Yeah, some wonderful drives through there and a bit of misfortune out there for some of the drivers overall. We're going to get a chance to talk then with Matt Caruana, a victory and a 2nd place for you today. Matt, I want to take you back to Road America last year with your battle with Diogo Pinto, because there were a lot of similarities that were there with that battle that brought you into what you had today. So talk us through the year that you've had and how you've learned from that experience to get the victory in 2nd today.
Yeah, I think last year actually taught me a lot, but this year, especially in F4, where there's lots of draft around Road America, for example. In the first race, I was sort of just like figuring out what I was going to do at the end. It worked in the first one, but then obviously in the second one, they know what you're going to do. So yeah, it was a good race with Victor in the second one, and yeah, I enjoyed it.
Well, you come into this season missing the opening 2 rounds. It was a case of massive struggles for you over at VIR. So how important was it for you to basically put on your Superman cape and decide that you are going to try and command these races from the front?
Yeah, obviously I've used my drop rounds now, so I've got to just keep putting in good performances. Yeah, I did well. I feel like I've had good pace all week here, so yeah, happy to get a result from it.
Well, let's talk about where you're heading to next, because it will be important for you with Lime Rock Park on the horizon. Completely different circuit to this one. Every sim racer knows Lime Rock Park like the back of their hand. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. Small track, obviously, F4 cars, but yeah, just it'll be a lot about pace there. A chance to break away a lot more than this track. So yeah, gonna be all about pace, I think.
Well, pace is a priority, and Matt Caruana is trying to move his way back up into the top 3 in the championship there. 1st and a 2nd makes a sizable dent to make that happen, as he was there with us for interview. That is going to be important. But Joey, you very quickly just ran down the pit lane. I believe you just caught up with Victor Miranda.
Yeah, Victor, another great effort here at Road America, a 4th place, and then capping it off with the win. The first half of the season, everybody is chasing you. How does that feel?
Hey, I feel amazing. This race 1 is just in luck with Ivan on turn 2. I got my front wing damage, but just managed to finish on 4th place.
Well, looking at the back half of the season, you've had tremendous performances all the way up to now. Does that change your preparation level at all, or are you just going to keep doing the same thing?
No, I keep doing the same thing with more confidence and more responsibility, just because left 2 rounds, you know.
Definitely got to keep the head on the swivel out there. Congratulations on another great effort, especially capping it off with a win here at Road America.
Thank you so much.
That was Victor Miranda driving the number 9 car today, Jake.
Yeah, he had a very, very good showing here today, and that was very tantamount to his championship aspirations. We are heading, of course, over to Lime Rock Park 1 week from today. Joey, that's going to be a track which everyone looks at and goes, it is basically a crucible.
It's a complete opposite of what we saw at Road America, a tight, twisty track known as the Bull Ring in the Northeast. The elbows are going to come out.
They absolutely are. I want to give a massive thanks to everyone who's been here bringing this production to you today, from Joey, from Daniel, and from Dougie as well. You can get all sorts of amazing sim racing action coming across in the next couple of weeks. But when we head to you next with the Skip Barber Racing School Formula iRacing series, it will be Lime Rock Park. It is a bull ring of racing circuits, a crucible of a theatre to try and get your head into. Miranda started to walk forward, but the Sharks are circling for Ivan Machado and co behind, who will stamp their name down as we head to Lakeville, Connecticut 1 week from today.